Hi, I'm Skyler. Welcome to Again CG, and today is day 14 of my 30-day sculpting challenge. That's almost halfway. Today's prompt is a tiger. This one actually came from you guys, so thank you for that challenge. I was honestly pretty worried about this one. I've seen a lot of people do some pretty amazing tiger sculpts, or at least anatomy-driven ones, so I thought this is quite outside my skill level, but why not try? I gathered a ton of reference and I even looked at some videos, and I couldn't quite figure out if I wanted to go in more of the stylized direction or more realistic. I started off with the body as a central mass, and then I sculpted out the arms, head, and legs just to get a rough idea of where everything would sit. At this point, it was definitely looking a lot more like a horse. I kept extending the legs and tried to make sure that I had all the limb sections in place. Then I decided to spend some time on the face, because no matter how much the body looks like a tiger, if the face looks like a horse blob, we're in trouble. I wanted an open mouth, growling expression, so I carved out the mouth and added some teeth. I remembered from a previous sculpt that this completely ate up my time, so I tried to be mindful of that, though it still did take about 10 minutes. I added a tongue, some back teeth, and pulled out parts of the mouth to sculpt the gums and give it a little bit more depth. Around 40 minutes in, I added the ears. These looked a little bit like teddy bear ears, but I swear that's kind of what they look like without fur. I don't know. With only about 15 minutes left, I shifted into speed sculpt mode and tried to add volume and muscle definition to the body. I struggled a lot with proportions here. Some of the limbs and areas got way too chunky. I added volume to the paws to make them feel less like human feet and more like actual paws. And then I continued building mass onto the body. There's also that skin webbing and connective tissue between the body and the legs, so I tried to hint at that as well. In the last 3 minutes, I wrestled with the sphere to make a tail. I'm not sure if it was just the time pressure, but it felt way harder than it should have been. And then time was up. Honestly, I was expecting much worse. I think I have captured some aspects of the tiger here, although it seems a little bit off and there are some proportion issues. I noticed the limbs are a little bit too chunky in certain areas, but I think we still technically have a tiger. I think it would be really fun refining the details and muscles here, and maybe eventually simulating things like skin and fur to see how it would look. One big takeaway that I got from this sculpt, and also my tortoise one previously, is that you really need to look from all angles to see how the form is turning out. Because it could look right from one side, but then if you turn to the other, it might look too chunky or come out where it shouldn't. I'd actually love to hear your thoughts about this. Should you focus on one angle and just make sure that angle looks right? Or should you be moving around and looking at all the different angles of the sculpt? Or maybe it's very specific to if you're under a time crunch or if you're only going to render one angle, but let me know. As always, thanks for watching. If you have ideas of things for me to sculpt next, throw them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on day 15.